Hey everybody, it's Amanda, your Humanities 246 faculty member, and I just wanted to make you this quick video so that I could kind of wrap the semester together a little bit for you just before we get to the end. We still have 3 weeks left to go before the end of the semester, so don't get too excited. There's still some significant work to do. But I wanted to kind of explain a little bit why the course is structured this way and how I'm expecting you to pull it all together at the end. So just a quick walk through this. I think of the course as kind of a few pillars that work together to support the foundation of critical thinking. And I've designed the class in that way. So the first thing is, oh, you might not be able to see that because of the webcam. Sorry. It says the definition of critical thinking. That was the first thing that we did in this course. And the reason why we did that is because how can you do critical or creative thinking if you don't know what it is or how to recognize it? So we needed to understand what it was, at least in theory, before we could start to do it. And then we went into unit number 2, which was all about the problem solving. So after we had kind of a simple understanding of what critical and creative thinking was, then we applied it in problem solving settings that were both simple and complex. So we immediately put our skills to use in kind of easy ways so we could get our feet wet, but then some complicated ways with some really difficult social problems. In the third unit, we looked at concept formation, and this is where we kind of use the tool of the microscope. So we take each idea apart and we look at its components. We examine each component to think, how was this put together? How is this shaped? What parts of it am I seeing? What parts of it am I blind to based on my own personal experiences? And then the fourth pillar is the fourth module that we just completed recently, the role of language, and basically understanding how it is the primary vehicle for critical and creative thinking because it's the main way that we communicate with each other. Although there are other ways to communicate, language is pervasive, not only in, again, the way we communicate, but also in the way we communicate with ourselves, how we have self-talk, things of that nature. And we really need to understand the persuasive nature of language and how we can use that to recognize our point of view as well as shape our own point of view and the point of view of others if we're trying to be persuasive. So I see these first 4 modules as kind of pillars that hold up a floor or a platform. And on that platform goes you. And that's in modules 5 and 6. We're pulling everything together into the creative self and the critical self. And in modules 5 and 6, I want you to really think about how you can use the lessons from all 4 modules into a greater application. So whereas we spent 2 or 3 weeks looking at each of these modules somewhat separately, occasionally weaving it back in through, when it comes to 5 and 6, you really want to weave all the aspects of critical and creative thinking together. And of course, you'll see that done in 2 ways. One is in the final exam. It's a cumulative exam. So I'm using questions that you've submitted as well as questions that I've created from unit 1 all the way to unit 6. I do this because I want you to really remember that each of these things that we've covered from the beginning, that you still need that information for the end. You have to know what we discovered in week 1 in order to really think creatively and critically kind of in week 12. And then the other big project that's due soon is the thinking activity of the creative self. So up till now, I gave you a fair amount of autonomy in terms of doing some creative expression with the meme InfoWars project and making some choices about the what is it called? Action maze, evil landlady action maze. And of course, in the debate analysis, I allowed you to choose which topic you were going to do. Now, I've given you a little bit of freedom all along the way with some kind of guidelines, but the creative project that comes at the end, that's a little more open, and that can be overwhelming for some students. So try not to be too overwhelmed. Just kind of take a deep breath and lean into it. This is an art class. I'm not necessarily judging you for your composition on whether your brush strokes are perfect, but I do want you to think about how you can turn all the work that we've been doing in our brains into an expression that pulls all of it together. In your personal life, you might want to focus in on one aspect, or you might take a big picture view. There's lots of room for the creative expression to go in a lot of different directions. So if you have any questions about that, definitely get in touch. I always look forward to these projects. It's some of my favorites. I think that's it. Just want to talk you through that a little bit. So I look forward to finishing the semester strong with you. And stay tuned. I am actually grading your debate analysis final projects. It's a slow project for me to grade. It's intense. So please be patient with me. You know, I'm typically a fast grader, but in this case, I'm probably going to take a little bit longer to get back to you. Just know that I am working on it, and I'll get probably 2 to 4 done each evening, so that means it should take me at least a week to get the entire class graded. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, just get in touch. All right, bye. I'm not sure how to turn it off. Found it.